All right, guys, before we go ahead and cut out our panel, I want to talk about the few different types of panel board or panel material that we can use. For me, I typically always try and use ABS plastic. That's what we're going to use on this job. ABS is just a really nice, strong board to make panel out of. It's super easy to work with. The only thing that I want to warn you about with the ABS is if it gets too hot, about 140 degrees, it actually starts to warp. So if you're going to be, in a really hot climate or leaving your car out in the sun for a long time, you can run into issues with this, and trust me, I've ran into those issues before, and it's a big nightmare. So be aware of that. I'm here in California, so we've got pretty mild weather. And so I'm going to make all the door panels and everything out of ABS on this car. The package tray, which is what usually sits right underneath the rear window, which is kind of like a little magnifying glass, I'm going to make that out of actually really thin plywood. This is what I have behind me here. You can make all your panels out of really thin plywood if you want. It's a little more cost effective. It's not as easy to work with because you have to use saws to cut it, and it will also break. You can see how this ABS, it's really flexible. And the reason I like ABS is it's going to last basically forever because it's never going to warp from moisture. You're never going to break it. It's just really tough material. If you ever need to recover one of these panels that you're making, you can pretty much just pull the fabric off and reuse the panel, whereas if you're using the plywood, it might be broken or it might be warped from moisture. And then there's also one other type of board that I pretty much never use. It's actually just called panel board, I think. It's like really thick hard cardboard, and it's black usually. You can get it at the upholstery store. I don't like using that very much because it's just not very strong, it's not very durable, and as soon as moisture gets on it, it just warps like crazy. So, check all three of those out, decide, how much you want to spend on it and, the quality of material you want to buy, but that's what I do. So I'm going to show you how to work with ABS, and then when we do the package tray, I'll show you how to work with the plywood as well. So let's get started.